One of the most overlooked Pokemon in my opinion for all of Scarlet and Violet competitive has been none other than Dragapult. I remember mentioning when I was with my good pals Randy and Root all the way back in Orlando Regionals that I expected great results from this Pokemon, and as of the World Championships, we've not only had this thing won an international challenge, but also get second place at the World's Finals. So today, I want to show the team that managed to do just that, put Dragapult on the map as one of the most feared Pokemon in all of Scarlet and Violet competitive. If you guys enjoy this content and want to see more like it, of course, like and subscribe for more, and with that said, let's break down today's team. So today's team is going to be featuring a Dragapult Chien-Pao team, which has proven to be really good as of the North American International Challenge and proved to do really well at Worlds as well. This team was built by Michael, of course, who I will be linking Michael Kelsch's Twitter down below, as well as Talon VGC, who actually managed to recreate this team. As far as I'm aware, the rental is still not public for Michael Kelsch's original version, but Talon ended up recreating this as well as several other teams that were at the World Championships. So I'm going to link to not only that video, but also Talon VGC's channel, because a lot of the work that was put into this is truly breathtaking. I've tried to recreate this team myself, and I think I missed a lot of nuances that someone like Talon VGC did a really good job at showing off. So I want to, of course, just again highlight the hard work put into that. So link down below if you guys want to check that out. But in general, one of the biggest benefits of this team is using not only Dragapult, which is an overlooked Pokemon that most people probably weren't thinking about speed creeping with their prep, but also Farigiraf, which is a great way to block a lot of common priority options. With Pokemon like Chien-Pao, Dragonite, Palafin, Urshifu, etc., all being somewhat strong, if not outright metagame defining Pokemon, all relying on really strong priority options, having Farigiraf with a Rocky Helmet and the Tera Water benefits into all of these spots. It's a great way to get rid of your Dark weakness as well as to get a really good resistance in a monster like Urshifu-Rapid and to take advantage of that just in general high damage output this would otherwise put out. With Dragapult, Chien-Pao, and Urshifu-Rapid, you have a really damning physical core that will break through most, if not every opponent you end up fighting. Meanwhile, with Rillaboom being great fake out support and a great way to recover through damage, as well as allowing you to have a really good partner for Heatran to not only boost Tera Blast, Tera Grass, but also pre-Tera to help with weaknesses to moves like Earthquake, you have a really good, well-rounded team that it's no shock that it ended up making the World Championship Finals for. The rental code is on screen here, as well as the paste in the description, as well as, again, the links to all the other people mentioned. I really appreciate you guys coming back. Of course, I know I took a bit of a hiatus with uploading, but I appreciate you sticking around, and let's get into the battles. All right, and we're here. This is, honestly, it feels really weird recording a full video. I have not recorded in, oh my god, it's been too long. It's been way too long. But I'm looking forward to this. It should be interesting for sure. First game is going to be against a pretty hard-hitting team. POW Arcanine has proven to be a very terrifying core while I've been gone, and the fact they also have Dragonite here, which could actually, weirdly enough, match it pretty well into this team, even as a pre-Terramon for that matter, and then let Arcanine take the favor of more so getting rid of its typing that ends up making itself a little bit more weak to mons like Heatran and Urshifu, could actually be pretty valuable. In terms of my lead in particular here, though, I feel like that honestly, like a Farig lead could be pretty decent, though I might want to backline it instead to try and waste a turn from my opponent, especially if that is like a Banded Arcanine. I'm assuming it's like a Lum Dragonite, though it could maybe be like a Life Orb Arcanine and then a Banded D-Knight. That both options work. I'm going to lead off with Pult Pow. I think that gives some decent options. We'll go with Farig in the back. And then I think final mon probably will be Urshifu. Heatran could be decent here too, to be fair, but I feel like that with Heatran, I do kind of need to Tera it, and Urshifu, at the very least, being a Scarfer, actually does offer a lot of merit in the late game against this team, so I think I'll bank off of that instead. I'm a little bit worried about the Thundurus, specifically if it ends up being a Sunny Dice set, that could actually make Fluttermane a little bit of a problem, specifically depending on what mons I do or don't keep around, so I will just need to play a bit carefully around that. But good luck and fun to my opponent, and let's see what they end up leading. My opponent leads off with POW D-Knight. Okay, so they do go with the POW Knight lead. Perfectly fine, actually. My Pult matches up very well into this. And specifically with this lead as well, what I can proceed to do is I can... So weirdly enough, I might actually just switch out Pult entirely. I know that kind of sounds a bit weird after I just said that Pult matches up really well into this. But my specific concern would be with their own Chien-Pao here. So what I think I might actually do is I might just go hard into Farigiraf here. And then if they go for like a Sucker Punch into this, that's fine. I'll just dual block them. And otherwise, I could try and take advantage of things like, for example, I don't know. There's a lot of things I could actually do with this, to be fair. I think that my play on the POW will be to go for... I think I'm just going to go for Crunch. And I'm going to go for Crunch into their POW and just try and get some damage off. Break a Focus Sash even. So Pult is going to switch out here. Pult will still have some decent work in the late game, especially with this lead. I'm a lot less scared of Fluttermane besides a booster speed set, so I could actually just use my Pult instead as a means of breaking through Fluttermane in the late. Let me actually double check real quick because I do forget the paste here. Let's see. So we have... Sorry, I have way too many pastes open. This is an offensive pult. The paste actually shows hasty. I'm assuming that this was an accident. I don't think that the actual in-game pult is hasty. But it would be pretty funny at the very least if that was a hasty pult on a bandit set. Crunch is going to go off here. Perfect. That breaks focus Sash at the very least. That is pretty valuable, of course. And we do drop defense, which is even better. And then we see Outrage D-Knight, actually. Okay, so I like the defensive tab from that D-Knight, actually. It's a pretty good call for sure on my opponent's end. Anticipating the Farigiraf to come in, and it's also just a really good way of getting off damage here. So I do like that for sure. Good play on my opponent's part. We're going to proceed to go for a Hyper Voice this turn. I feel like Hyper Voice is pretty good. Meanwhile, on my pull, on my POW, actually, I could probably just proceed to go for a Sucker Punch, just to guarantee damage off on D-Knight. I can maybe break up multi-skill. And then, meanwhile, with POW in the backline, I could actually proceed to go for... Yep, perfect. So they're going to get blocked by Armor Tail, which is great. My Sucker Punch, meanwhile, will go off into D-Knight guaranteed, which is great for breaking any sort of multi-skill. This did not prove to have multi-skill. It's probably just inner focus, which is fine. Farigiraf will drop to this. It's a little bit unfortunate, but we do break a Rocky Helmet at least this turn. And I could honestly probably just bring in my own Dragapult even. I think, actually, I'll bring in Urshifu. Urshifu is probably the safer bet. Because Urshifu can just kill that Chien-Pao outright. And then I could just, yeah, I could just Sucker Punch or even just go for Protect on my own Chien-Pao. A little bit unfortunate, I guess, because my opponent could just get a very free attack off. But I think... I'm actually just going to go for Sucker Punch into the D-Knight here. I know that does mean that I might lose my Chien-Pao, but at the same time, though, I think... No, I do kind of need to preserve this. I'm going to go for the Protect. I think this does have a little bit of a gamble, to be fair, because if Outrage just land into my Urshifu, I'm kind of just losing them on. But at the same time, though, a lot of my opponent's team really is not going to like taking Surging Strikes here. For example, we see Arcanine come in right now, and Arcanine will very much not appreciate taking Surging Strikes. And frankly, I don't care about the drop. My Chien-Pao doesn't really care about the drop either, for that matter, because it just needs to kill the D-Knight or even just be a back support option. We're going to see the Dragonite also switch out here, though. Okay, that's Flutter Mane. That's perfectly fine. Don't be booster speed. No booster speed. It's not booster speed. Okay, that's perfect. So Flutter Mane can't Tera, so it actually guarantee cannot take this hit from Urshifu. Meanwhile, the Arcanine is actually going to completely drop here. It just takes one. That's obvious. It's a 4 times effective hit on a Pokemon that guarantee critical hits. With a stab boosted attack, I mean, that was pretty always going to kill, especially next to Chien-Pao for that matter. So my Urshifu's in a great position here. My Urshifu actually just guarantee outpaces the team. Really, only Dragonite can come in and deal any damage anyway, and Dragonite coming in is actually really fine for me, to be completely honest. What I'm going to proceed to do is I'm going to go for the Surging Strikes right into that Flutter Mane here. I do need Flutter Mane to just die. Meanwhile, with POW on the other hand, I am actually just going to proceed to go for a Crunch right into D-Knight here. There's no real reason to preserve this mon, in my opinion. They are going to switch out D-Knight, actually. Oh, I don't know if I agree with that play, to be honest. I think they should have tried to seek the kill, in my opinion. Obviously, to each their own. Maybe they don't expect the Scarf Urshifu here. But I feel like that was such a low reward play, in my opinion. Like, that offers them nothing. They get no positioning out of this. They just lose their Flutter Mane for no reason now. They couldn't have even applied a lot of pressure damage-wise to where they maybe could have picked me off with Sucker Punch. Which, for the record, I'm still very fine with this. That only works out in my favor. Especially since I didn't try and get cheeky with the Chien-Pao and I just clicked Crunch. So, I'm actually looking really good here now. Because my opponent can't really do a lot to me. What I could probably do, actually, at this point... So... I feel like that my best play might actually just be to go hard into Dragapult here. Which, again, might sound a little bit weird. But the logic being is that I kind of want to just kill the Dragonite. So I'm going to go for Crunch into this. I'm anticipating an E-Speed in this slot. And even by going Dragapult here, either my opponent will predict and they'll go for a very aggressive play like Crunch into that spot with Chien-Pao, which is fine. Or B, they'll just go for dual priority. See, so they go for E-Speed, perfect. And then they're probably going to go for a move like Sucker Punch, which is also fine. Sucker Punch. Yep, okay, so they actually go for that into POW. POW was probably the best play they could have made for that, frankly. But this still works out very fine for me, in my opinion. So what I'm going to proceed to do, I'm going to bring in my Urshifu here. All I need to do is actually just seek the kill into D-Knight. D-Knight will be a little bit scary, not going to lie. But I can still make this work. I can still make this work for sure. So I'm going to proceed to go for the Tera... honestly, I could just go for Tera Ghost. Something I could do, actually. I'm going to make a pretty safe play on my end, and I'm going to go for, I don't care about, I'm going to go for Tera Ghost specifically to lessen my Ice weakness, but I'm going to Sucker Punch POW. And then, meanwhile, I'm going to go for the Surging Strikes into the Chien-Pao. No, actually, so, I do need to kind of dual target POW, which means that I need to just Aqua Jet that as well. The play should be to really just try and claim my KOs and not let POW get off damage on either Mon. Actually, to be completely honest, I think I probably should have locked a different move on Pult and then just Aqua Jetted, but again, just keeping Pult alive will be valuable. And then I can proceed to just Aqua Jet into the Dragonite on the following turn. I don't think it'll kill me for the record, but even if it does, I can, honestly, I could just bring it to struggle. We do not die. Okay, perfect. So both of my Pokemon will just completely avoid Chien-Pao's Wrath here, which is huge for me, actually. And then perfect. Chien-Pao ends up dropping to this. Okay. So we're in a little bit of a pickle here, but again, I'm pretty sure that E-Speed has less priority, technically, and Dragonite should just die to struggle, to be completely honest. Let me actually double check that, because that could end up maybe biting us. I mean, frankly, it doesn't really matter. I actually always have to click this, regardless. They're going to E-Speed. Okay, perfect. Fine. I am kind of curious, though, how much PP... Like E-Speed does have just 8 PP, right? I didn't just choke the game away on that. That's 8 PP? 8 PP. Okay, perfect. So we actually guarantee win the game. It's going to be a little bit boring in that game, to be fair, but my opponent actually guarantee can't do anything about this, because they've clicked E-Speed one more time than we have, guaranteed. I'm pretty sure they've clicked 2 more times even, but they've clicked it at least more than we have. I don't have any way that I die to this hit. My Pult guarantee lives, for the record. So actually, I've guaranteed locked in on game with this. By going for the dual priority, I made sure that POW could never Sucker Punch either of my Pokemon, and we saw with Urshifu taking that hit on 16 that ended up actually mattering a ton. So, by going for this play, I guaranteed an endgame where my opponent can never beat me. They have to E-Speed until Struggle, and Struggle will take them out because it does 25% as a flat number. They're in the red, they guarantee do not have 25% left, so I just mash Sucker Punch. It's a little bit boring of an endgame, to be fair. Albeit there's not really a lot of strategy into these like 6 turns other than I just am speed running the win through a very animationless endgame until my opponent dies to struggle, which this should be the last E-Speed they have. They should have no more E-Speeds at this point. They guarantee die now because again, they've clicked E-Speed one more time than we've clicked Sucker Punch. And even honestly, even in an even scenario, even if I miscounted this, perfect, yeah, so Sucker Punch goes off. We killed before struggle anyway. I forgot that would just happen. But even if I miscounted that by 1 turn, Dragonite could never have killed me with Banded Terra Normal E-Speed, Terra Banded Normal Struggle, and even still, my Struggle would have went first, and I'm Choice Banded as well. I probably might have even just killed with my Struggle. So I had a lot of ways of still winning that, to be fair, but we'll take it. We're 1-0 for the day. We'll see you guys in game number 2. Peace out. Okay, game number 2. We're going to be taking on a team consisting of Bundle, Fluttermane, Torn, Land of Tea, Urshifu, probably Rapid on this team. I know that, to be fair, the Bundle cores do sometimes run Single Strike. It's a pretty decent partner with it, as Bundle's pretty good speed control. I think my friend's actually running a pretty similar team to this, funny enough. Now that I'm looking at it, I think they just don't have Lando on it. I'm not really too sure. I know that Bundle can be paired pretty well with Urshifu Single, though. It's probably one of the only really good Urshifu Single partners, in my opinion, besides, like, Torn. So this could definitely be a single striker Urshifu, which would actually be a lot scarier for this comp, but Farig late game could be pretty decent in this team. In fact, Farig is actually pretty hard to break for my opponent. Pult is a really good lead here. The issue being is that Torn could end up enabling a lot of other threats like Fluttermane to be pretty deadly against me. I think I'm going to lead off with Fluttermane, with Urshifu and the Chien-Pao. I'm going to bring Farig in the back. I might even bench Pult, but I do like Tera Pult as a good cleaner here. I'm also kind of a fan of Heatran at the same time. In fact, I could actually maybe even just bench Urshifu outright and then go with, or even bench Chien-Pao, to be honest. I do kind of like the idea of actually benching Chien-Pao here. I can go with Heatran in the back, and then we'll go with, I do think that, actually, I don't need Farig. I don't know why I thought that I needed Farig, but, okay, I wanted to try and put Pao back on lead with Urshifu and then bring Pult endgame. I don't know why I thought that I needed Farig. To be fair, I don't think Farig is bad here by any means. But I feel like that I'm a lot less reliant on winning with Farig than I would have initially thought. The best thing it gives me is Trick Room, but at the same time, no, I don't really feel like I have a good Trick Room mode in this team. I'm Bundle Fluttermane. Okay, a classic. This is a classic lead, all the way back from Series 2. It's just a strong lead overall. It's kind of hard to break because Bundle can just get some really strong Icy Winds off. However, thankfully, because of my opponent's team, actually, what I can proceed to do is I can just go for Tera Blast. I could also just go for Phantom Force in all honesty, and that might even be a little bit better, specifically because while my opponent can double around this, making sure that I can break through Fluttermane Protect in the following turn in case it doesn't. Well, actually, no, never mind. I always just click Tera Blast here. So we'll click Tera Blast, and I'm going to click Aqua Jet. This way, even if my opponent does go for an Icy Wind, Fluttermane will guarantee not get an attack off. The Pult is going to be Clear Body, so they can't Icy Wind me, meaning that my Pult will always just be faster. And meanwhile, my Urshifu is going for a priority attack, So even if this is a focus Sash set, we guarantee break it before Fluttermane can even get a Shadow Ball or a Dazzling Gleam off safely. We're banded, so I can't imagine that Fluttermane will take this hit. They don't even go for Tera anyway. Beautiful. They probably anticipated that they can go to Icy Wind and get the free route, but they can't get damage off of Fluttermane, which is huge. We're locked into a priority move with the Urshifu as well, so the speed drop will not matter. And then Pull is going to claim the kill. That's the biggest threat in their team, and it's completely eviscerated turn 1. That could have been a lot scarier if they let off with Torn, to be fair, but because they didn't, I'm actually really okay here. And even if they did, I could have probably still went for the Aqua Jet play, sacked Urshifu, and then ended up switching Pull into Heatran, and that could have probably gotten me some similar mileage, albeit I would have maybe been starting a little bit more on the back foot. But we'll take this. They do prove to be single strike Urshifu. Okay, so I do actually hit the switch here. We're going to go right into POW, and then meanwhile, on my Urshifu-Rapid, I might even just go right into Heatran. They're probably going to go for an Icy Wind, to be fair. Oh, right, okay. So, alright, so I definitely want to go into POW with this slot, because I do feel like that going into Heatran with the Urshifu trying to 4x resist that ice move that's very much incoming with Freeze Dry is probably going to be a little bit better of a net positive for me. I'm anticipating that the Urshifu will just try and Sucker Punch my POW, which is great for me. I could Sucker Punch the bundle on the following turn, and then probably just go for Heat Wave, because Heat Wave will be very low drawback. So, I'll more than take this, even if they go for like an Icy Wind this turn, which is still a fairly viable play, especially because they're not sure if I'm Scarf Urshifu. They're going to go for Detect. Okay, Detect is fair as well. I can't really stop them from going for Detect in all honesty, and they are going to go for Freeze Dry. They're trying to kill Urshifu. Perfect. Okay, so my Heatran is pretty set here. We'll go for Sucker Punch here into the Iron Bundle, and then meanwhile, I'm going to go for a Heat Wave. No matter what mon they attack here, I'm pretty okay with this. They very well might just go for like an Encore or a Protect on Iron Bundle. I think both those are pretty valid. And then meanwhile with, well, if they're Encore, they're actually probably just switching out Bundle. There's no way they would keep them on, and if it's not Hydro Pumping. No, they actually just go for Icy Wind. So they're probably just trying to either kill POW and not value Heatran at all, which is fine for me because Heatran will get off some serious damage, and then Pull can come in and revenge Urshifu. Or, yep, they're going to go for Close Combat. Okay, that's still fun. My Urshifu being Scarf is great into this now. I can get a very free Surging Strikes, and then meanwhile, I can go for Sucker Punch right into the Iron Bundle. Because either A, Iron Bundle will just drop, meaning that my Urshifu can no longer be limited in terms of its damage output into their Urshifu, or B, I'm going to be able to just let the bundle protect, meaning that my Urshifu is completely unscathed speed-wise. So this also works out pretty well for me. These Surging Strikes should completely kill that Urshifu, though. There's no real concern here. I don't feel like there's a reason either to just lock into close combat, especially when there are two flying types in the back, one of which is Landorus, which could pivot in my team pretty well after picking a sack. Even if they do Tera Water Landorus in the late game, or go for like a Tera Grass Heatran in the late game, I do still have options around that, so I'm not too concerned. And this play should allow me to still keep all three of my Pokemon alive, meaning that Urshifu can switch out to try and scout for that. So I'm pretty okay with this. They're going to probably go for Protect on Bundle if I had to guess here, because losing that booster speed would actually be pretty bad, especially seeing that they did kill the Heatran. This leads me to believe they might have an Encore set. They are going to go for Protect. Okay, perfectly fine. Their Urshifu still drops. They're -1, and they're taking a Scarf. I believe we're Scarf Adamant Urshifu, but even still, Surging Strikes will just be so massive damage-wise. This won't matter. Perfect. Yep. Guarantee 3 KO. Well, not 3 KO. Guarantee all 3 hits will take this out. Perfect. And then Urshifu will drop to hit 3. Beautiful. So now actually I can guarantee switch out Urshifu. Urshifu will just be very fine to clean up this team in the late game. Depending on that 4th mon, I could also maybe just switch out, just sack both my Pokemon here. Specifically, so Landorus comes in. Okay, yeah. I could just sack Urshifu, because I don't really have a reason to overpredict here. I should always just attack the Landorus with Surging Strikes and then go for Sucker Punch in the bundle. Now, to be fair, there's definitely a world where they could just try and predict around this, maybe go for like a Tera Water, which I'm very okay with that. Tera Water Landorus plus like a Protect on Bundle to try and claim a kill on POW before it gets Sucker Punch would probably be their best play in my opinion. But even still, I don't have a reason to try and play around that in my opinion, because my Pult can just come in and deal some serious damage in the late game, and it's not really affected by anything here. So they are going to go for Tera Water Landorus. I'm pretty fine with this. Tera Water Landorus, again, doesn't really do a lot to me outside of just taking this Urshifu hit better. They are going for Encore. Okay, that's pretty okay. Yep, Encore. Okay, I'm fine with that. I don't mind being Encored into Sucker Punch, because that Landorus probably has a defensive item, whether it's Rocky Helmet or Assault Vest, and either one of those, I'm okay with this. Okay, so they're probably Assault Vest, if I had to guess, especially with that Tera Water play. I can't imagine this is some like Life Orb Landorus or anything. They might go for Rock Slide or even like a Earthquake here. Either one, I'm okay with that. What are they gonna do? They're gonna go for Rock Slide. Okay, so POW probably won't like taking that. Yeah, POW's gone. but this still works out fine for me, because my Pult should be able to just come in and click a pretty free Tera Blast Ghost. What I could also probably end up doing here, I'm curious about Dragon Darts, actually. So Dragon Darts should be really strong damage. Actually, my play should always be Dragon Darts, now that I'm saying that out loud. Because going for the Dragon Darts into the Iron Bundle, there's no way that doesn't kill. I actually refuse to believe that doesn't kill. Let me actually double check this before I make a bad play. Now, I'm pretty certain that Dragapult will just kill versus Iron Bundle. So Dragon Darts, wow, Dragon Darts actually doesn't do shit. Oh my god, Bundle's just bulky. With Tera Blast, and we are Ghost. Yeah, so that would guarantee kill. I feel like I need to go for this anyway. And then I'll go for Surging Strikes into Bundle, just in case. Just in case they go for a Protector. They're going to go for Freeze Dry. Okay, that's fine. So the Dragon Darts will still get off some serious damage. I believe we will still kill Landers. And so we can't kill Bundle, barring like some insane roll. Actually, we could maybe kill Bundle, but it would need to be... Oh, okay, so we get a really good roll there. That works out well. But yeah, I'll more than take that. And they're going to go for Rock Slide. Okay. Perfect. So we should guarantee clean up at this point. Dragon Darts will pick off the Landers, and Landers cannot outpace us. Definitely a little bit lucky, I will say, because that Bundle very well could have taken that hit, and we could have lost the game. But, hey, we'll be perfectly fine taking that. We're 2-0 for the day, though. We'll see you guys in one more game at the end. So, yeah, we'll see you in game number 3. Okay, so moving into our final game of the day, we're taking on a Tauros team. Honestly, Tauros is kind of a fire pick. It's probably a Snowscape Torn with, like, Tailwind, Snowscape, Bleak Wind, and then probably Taunt, if I had to guess. Iron Hands, if I had to guess, I feel like this... it's probably like a Glasses King Gambit and like AV Iron Hands. AV Iron Hands with like a Tera Water or Tera Grass feels really strong into this, well, with this team comp. Especially with the Tera Water, I feel like it just gives a lot of defensive merit to an otherwise kind of frail team. In terms of my damage output here, though, I feel like the Heatran is really strong into this comp. Heatran really only kind of struggles with the Urshifu, and I think that with the Tera Grass, I could actually use this as a really good lure. What I kind of want to start with, though, is I feel like that Pult Shifu gives a lot of mileage in this early game. I don't really like Rillaboom here, which is kind of unfortunate. I didn't get to show off Rillaboom, but at the same time, it's really kind of Tera reliant to this team, and it could maybe end up messing me up with the late game Urshifu. So, if this ain't a Grassy Glide, this mon would be absolutely coming to this team, because Grassy Glide Rillaboom would have been really good in this matchup. However, I do kind of need Heatran because it's a really good check to mons like Articuno. It's really my team's only good check to that mon, actually, besides like a Tera Ground set, which if it Tera Grounds, I'm actually really strong into that anyway. And I guess Tera Water maybe would have justified Rillaboom, but Tera Water should just get kind of broken because it won't get the defense boost from Snowscape. I can just go for like a crunch into that with the Chien-Pao. Close Combat will still be free into that. Tera Blast Ghost will probably still massacre that too, for the record. Kingambit or Shifu. Okay, Kingambit Shifu is fine. They are Rapid Strike, perfectly okay with this. I'm going to proceed to just go for a Surging Strikes, and then, I think I'm just going to go for, I kind of want to just actually dual target there, Urshifu, to be completely honest. I feel like that gets me a lot of ground. I might even Tera Dark my Pao, to be completely honest. Urshifu-Rapid, we're going to calc that versus Chien-Pao. So, with Tera Dark, and we're going to go for Crunch into this, because Tera Dark Crunch actually does some serious damage. Versus, and then if we stack that with Urshifu-Rapid, going for Surging Strikes, that doesn't do a lot, but with Close Combat, we could maybe do it. So we're going to go for Close Combat here, and we're going to pick that off. The combination of these two should pick off their Urshifu, and if they do go for Tera, I'm okay with that. This is kind of a little bit of a gamble, to be fair, but at the same time, though, I think we can still make this work for sure. And if they Tera their Urshifu trying to lean into damage, that could actually be the thing that kind of just guarantees the kill. Because while they will do more damage with Surging Strikes, they'll never get that attack off. But this should guarantee the kill. With the Swords of Ruin in particular, we're going to deal enough damage to pick off that Urshifu. However, we wouldn't have done that beforehand. They're going to go for Tera Water on Kingambit, actually. Tera Water Kingambit's interesting, but I do fuck with that play a lot. It's a really safe play, and I'm really glad I did not just Surging Strikes that recklessly, because I could have lost both my mons out right here. We are going to get some good damage off on our Urshifu here. Perfect. We didn't get the kill. In hindsight, I probably didn't need to go for Tera Dark, but at the same time, losing my weakness to Kingambit's Iron Head is probably going to be helpful. That might make a difference in calcs, actually. Chien-Pao has some deceptive physical bulk, or just deceptive bulk in general, for that matter. It's a kind of bulky mon. I mean, I won't act like it's the bulkiest thing, but 80-80 is pretty decent. And like, yeah, see? So that's not bad. We would have been guaranteed brought down to Sash with that. So Tera Ghost actually did kind of come in clutch. This thing can't really viably go for Sucker Punch into me either, and my POW should outpace this, barring like a really fast Gambit. Which, for context, they would actually need to be Jolly Gambit to creep POW safely. Now, to be fair with this particular team, I believe, yeah, we're Adamant POW, so technically they could outpace us. But I'm going to go for Sucker Punch anyway into Gambit. And then I'm going to go for Close Combat into Gambit. Because this should deal some good damage. Torn will either, Gambit's going to either have to just let me deal strong damage to this, which is what it's kind of looking like here. And I might be able to just take out the Gambit if Torn's going to go for a Tailwind. Perfect, okay, because my Urshifu will outpace that. My Urshifu will objectively outpace that. And bringing this game down to the last 2 mons already will be good, because Torn doesn't put up a lot of pressure on my team. I could Sucker Punch that very freely in the next turn. And then meanwhile, I could switch out Urshifu into probably Heatran. I feel like a Heatran is the switch. Barring Iron Hands, Heatran is the switch. And if it's Iron Hands, I just go into Pull. So either way, I think I've set up myself for a really good endgame with that play. Thankfully, I'm glad they didn't go for Sucker Punch that turn, because Sucker Punch into Urshifu could have maybe been damage that could have helped them. I know it wouldn't have done a lot, but Gambit is kind of just a strong Pokemon that could have maybe gotten off a good hit. And by going for the Sucker Punch here, before they could have gotten up to Tailwind, we are pretty set here. They are going to go into Iron Hand, so I actually always should be going for the... I should be going for the Sucker Punch into Torn. Actually, I go for Protect this turn, and then I go hard into the Dragapult this turn. There's a good chance that Torn goes for Bleak Wind, and then Hands goes for like a Fake Out into my Chien-Pao. I don't really want to let my opponent get that off for free, and I'd rather just stall through their Tailwind, to be completely honest. Which means that in the next turn, I can go for a Sucker Punch into Torn, and then go for Dragon Darts. I feel like that's probably my best play. Even if they do go for like a support move, my Pult should get off any sort of hit before Iron Hands, because there's no way that Hands is running 108 speed would be what they need to creep this. Bleak Wind goes off. Okay, and we can't get Clear Body, which is good. Realistically, oh, they go for Thunder Punch. Oh, they actually predict that. Okay, good play on my opponent's end. That's actually a really good play on my opponent's end. We're still fine with this, though. I'm not really too concerned at all. We're going to go right into Heatran. So Torn is a little scarier now. I won't lie, it's a little scarier. But what I could do, I can just go for the Tera Ghost Sucker Punch into this, and then I'm going to proceed to go for a Flash Cannon. I'm just going to dual target the Torn. I feel like that's a little more valuable at this point. Sucker Punch does go off. My opponent did get a little bit greedy with that Bleak Wind play, which works out well for me, because we actually do just kill the Torn. That's really huge, because Urshifu will be able to deal some good damage into Iron Hands. And whether they go for the kill into POW, or they just deal damage to Heatran, either way, I'm kind of set with this. Because if Heatran was alive, I could have went for Earth Power here pretty freely. They lost their Teras, so Earth Power plus Surging Strikes would have been good damage. And then meanwhile, with POW Shifu, POW Shifu, I can get off Surging Strikes for free, plus, So actually, I think that my play here is just to go for the Crunch. Definitely Crunch is always my play. And then I think I just go for Surging Strikes. I was going to say Close Combat, but Surging Strikes will just deal more damage because the critical hits every time. Actually, it'll deal about the same amount of damage, but to be fair, I'm not weakening my defenses, which, at least if they're going for Drain Punch, will be a little bit more beneficial. Also, the lack of Wild Charge in favor of Thunder Punch does kind of want me to maybe just try and chance this, in case of maybe the defense drops mattering. So, we'll get the Surging Strikes off. This plus Crunch should deal some serious damage to Iron Hands here. We'll definitely be bringing it well below half. If they go for Thunder Punch here, that's fine. They're going to guarantee die to the next hit no matter what. Meanwhile, if they're going to go for something like a Thunder Punch here, I'm okay with the lack of... Well, Drain Punch here, I should say. They're not going to heal up enough versus... Well, damage to Urshifu. Okay, so they do go for the kill. So we might be in a little bit of a pickle here. But Crunch could still potentially get this kill. We're going to go for another Crunch here. Crunch can maybe do it. Can Crunch get the kill? It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. The Hands might just pick it up. Oh, perfect. POW just... Adamant POW. This mon is so deadly. I love Adamant POW so much. It's probably my favorite way to run POW personally. We could have been punished a lot worse there, to be fair. If they... Actually, never mind. It wouldn't have mattered because they targeted Urshifu. If they targeted POW, it could have mattered a lot more. But thankfully they didn't. Because if they targeted POW there and they were like a really fast Iron Hands, they could have actually technically outpaced me, and that wasn't something I thought of that I probably should have. But it's fine, it's fine, it didn't matter. To be fair, if I did try and play around that, I think I would have actually guaranteed lost the game, because Sucker Punch would not have done the damage I needed Crunch to. And seeing how close that Crunch roll was, Sucker Punch being 10 base power less, that would have lost me the game. So I'm kind of glad I didn't overthink that, but we'll take it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed though, and if you did, like and subscribe for more. Thank you guys so much for checking out the video. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded. I had to take some time off. Again, I mentioned this in the intro most likely, and if I didn't, it's kind of dumb of me not to. But I'm just really appreciative, of course, that you guys still stick around. Shoutouts to our channel members though, for just a couple dollars a month. Of course, you get some nice bonus content. Our current channel members are going to be Zeke, Mia, Timo Mueller, Sam, Rao Plays, Obo, Johannes Bead, Double, Endless Gadgets, and Bam Bambi. Thank you guys so much for your support on the channel. It means the world. We do have a channel member poll for you guys, of course, if you guys want to check that out. That's going to be on the community tab. You channel members get to vote. Oh my god, I set it to not channel members only. Well, that poll will go up tomorrow then at 5 p.m. EST. So if you're watching this before, I need to repost that, because apparently I never can post these channel member polls without putting it on the actual non-member tab. I don't know why that's the case, I just never do. But regardless though, we'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Until then, peace out guys.